remember it perfectly, but somehow you're the one apologizing. It starts small, a comment at dinner. You're so sensitive. A moment that feels off, but you can't quite name why. You replay it in your head that night. Maybe they're right. Maybe you are overreacting. Then it happens again. You bring up something that bothered you, something clear, something real, and they look at you like you've said something insane. That's not what happened. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. So you go back to your memory. You look for the cracks, and the more you look, the less certain you become. Were you too emotional? Did you misread the situation again? The doubt doesn't just change your memory of that moment, it starts to change how you see yourself. What's happening to you has a name. It's been documented by psychologists, studied in clinical settings, and experienced by millions of people who had no idea it was even possible. It's called gaslighting, and if you've ever felt more confused after a conversation with someone who claims to love you, this video is for you. The word comes from a 1938 stage play, and later a 1944 film called Gaslight. A husband secretly dims the gas-powered lights in his home, then denies that anything has changed when his wife notices. Over time, she begins to believe she's losing her mind. It was fiction, but it described something devastatingly real. In psychological terms, gaslighting is a form of emotional manipulation where one person systematically causes another to question their own perception of reality. It's not a single argument. It's not one bad night. It's a sustained, repeated pattern, and it's designed, consciously or not, to give the abuser total control. The tactics follow a recognizable playbook. Denial, flat out refusing to acknowledge what happened. Diversion, changing the subject every time you try to discuss the problem. Trivializing, you're so dramatic, it was just a joke. And countering, attacking your memory directly. You always do this, you twist everything I say. Here's where the science gets disturbing. When your partner tells you something didn't happen that you know happened, your brain enters a state called cognitive dissonance, a painful psychological tension between two conflicting pieces of information. And your brain is wired to resolve that tension. It needs one version to be true. The problem is, when the person doing the contradicting is someone you love, someone whose approval and safety you depend on, your brain is actually more likely to doubt itself. Research in attachment neuroscience shows that we unconsciously defer to our attachment figures in moments of uncertainty. They're supposed to be the people who know us best, which makes them the most dangerous people to gaslight us. Over months or years, this rewires things. The part of your brain responsible for autobiographical memory, the hippocampus, becomes less trusted as a source. Your sense of who you are, what you've experienced, and what you deserve starts to erode. Victims describe it as losing themselves. And that's not metaphor, that's neuroscience. Gaslighters aren't always calculated villains. Some do it deliberately as a control strategy. This is common in narcissistic and psychopathic personality patterns. But others gaslight out of a deep-seated inability to accept responsibility, to feel shame, or to sit with the discomfort of being wrong. The motivation is different. The damage is the same. The most insidious thing about gaslighting is that by the time you've been living in it for a while, you can't see it. Because it hasn't just changed your memory of specific events, it's changed your baseline. Your starting point is now, I'm probably wrong. You've been trained to distrust yourself, and the person who trained you is the one you're calling for reassurance. So how do you know? How do you break through the fog long enough to see it clearly? There are 7 patterns that researchers, therapists, and survivors identify as consistent warning signs. Go through these slowly, and pay attention to what you feel as you hear them. 1. You constantly second-guess yourself, even about things you would have been certain of before. 2. You apologize compulsively, often without knowing what you did wrong. 3. You feel confused or crazy after conversations with one specific person, but feel normal around others. 4. You make excuses for their behavior to other people. 5. You feel like you used to be more confident, and you can't pinpoint when that changed. 6. You avoid bringing up problems because you already know how it will go. And 7. When they finally show you affection, you feel relief that seems completely out of proportion to the moment. If any of those hit, I want you to understand something. Your memory is not broken. Your emotions are not too much. You are not crazy. Gaslighting works because it targets the most trusting part of you, the part that wanted to believe the person you love would never deliberately distort your reality. That's not a weakness. That's what it means to love someone. Recovery from gaslighting starts with a single, radical act: trusting your own perception again. Therapists working with survivors use a technique called reality anchoring, writing down events as they happen before they can be reframed. Building a record not for anyone else, just for you. A paper trail back to yourself. The reason this video exists is because language is power. Before you knew the word gaslighting, you might have thought something was wrong with you. Now you know there's a name for it. There's a mechanism. There's a reason. And there's a way out. Not because you're getting stronger, but because you're finally getting clearer. Before you go, think about the relationship where you feel most confused after conversations, where you leave feeling smaller than when you arrived. Is that confusion yours, or is someone placing it there? Here's something I keep thinking about. Do you think the people who do this always know what they're doing? Or is the damage the same whether they know or not? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know where you land on this. If someone came to mind just now, that's the person to send this to. They may not be ready to say it, but having the word is the beginning. The next one is already waiting.